We do not care.
That was just for you, Ryan James. Yeah, what's going on? And salute to the chat, man. How everybody doing tonight, man? What's going on? What's going on? All right, we got about 29. See, I see 29 in here. 29. All right, 29. Okay. You just walked in. Please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. What's going on? Yes, sir, man. What's going on, Lawrence Holiday? Support the channel, support your boy, support the music. And yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. As of right now, man, the game plan is Thailand. I'm thinking January. That's the game plan at the moment. But after having a talk with Richie Mack, man, he hit me with some real live wisdom, man. I might actually end up doing Philippines and Thailand like all in one trip since they so close and they pretty much on the same side of the planet. Like when he kind of like hit me with that, it kind of made sense, man. That might be the way to go. You know what I mean? Because that just go to show you what little bit I do know. I was under the impression that you can only do um, 14 days, otherwise it's considered. Otherwise, you would need a visa. Come to find out, he said it's 45 days. So I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, if that's the case, yeah, I could spend a little time in the Philippines and then spend a little time in Thailand. And that's what, like a month and a half? Yeah. Long Beach 225. What's going on, G? What's going on? Little plastic spoon. Okay. Yeah. What's going on, G? Black Crypto Cartel. What's good, G? E Rosary, man. Salute, man. My OG, bruh. That's what's up, man. Okay, then I see you. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now after talking to Richie Mack, man, for real. I was on his live earlier um today when he had Luke Caisley on there and ah it's another guy that was on there because me and him was on the same live because I was on Austin's live earlier too. I've been all over the place, you guys, for real. Yeah, no, yeah, no DR, no Brazil. You know what though? Brazil is starting to creep up on me, man. I'll be honest with you. DR, no, I'm good. Like DR, from what I hear, is pretty much ruined. Samurai Life, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, okay, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay, so okay, you starting a channel, man. That's what's up. I'm gonna have to go ahead and check that out. G. You know what? Hold on. Who just said that? Yeah, you know what? Global Passport was on my live yesterday, and he was saying he was looking at tickets for me. He said they cheaper in April. I'm like, and I but see, because I was tempted to put off Thailand till April because the Rolling Loud concert is in Pattaya, Thailand. So you know what I mean. I was thinking about doing that. Marvell, man, salute to you, my G. Salute to you, bro. Yeah, and I'm like, that's what everybody keeps saying, man. What up, bro? Showing love from Hawaii, man. What's good, my G? What's good? It's Jay Clyde. Salute, my G. What's going on, bro? We got 55 in the building. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please hit that like button on the way in if you just came in. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and check these likes. Okay, we sitting at about 48. As of right now, it's saying I got 50, 54, 52. Yeah. Let's get them likes up, G. All right. So I am not going to waste too much more time. I think I'm kind of caught up on the chat. Um, I don't really want to keep this guy more than about an hour or so, really, be honest with you. But we definitely going to chop it up, man, because this guy is experienced when it comes to this global travel thing. So I definitely want to get his perspective, and we're going to talk about how we got to this point as well. We ain't just going to talk, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty as well. All right, yeah, man, yeah. Shout out to my boy Dread Mike 73, man. What's going on, my G? All right. So, without further ado, we are going to bring in my guest today, and Shadow Slayer, my moderator. I got his link to his channel at the top of the chat. All right. All right. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and bring in Ask Andre.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's
Good to see
going
you
on,
tonight.
man? Good, man. I'm glad you're here, man. Appreciate you coming on tonight, man.
No,
Where are you located anyway?
Uh, Complex question, but not really. Right now, I'm in Chicago with family. This is where I was born and raised. I do have a place here. My office for my company is headquartered here, so I'm in Chicago a lot, pretty much every month. But where I live most of the time is Tampa, Florida.
Oh, okay then. Okay
Yeah.
then. Wow. All right. So, okay. So we're gonna start. My first question: how long have you been traveling abroad or slash dating abroad, and what got you to this point?
Yeah, let me take it from the beginning, man. I'm blessed. My parents got divorced when I was 6 years old, but my dad always stayed in my life. Both my parents taught me how to be professionals, made sure I was on the right path educationally. And even though South Side of Chicago, I had a mom, single parent mom, who, decided to make sure we were exposed to a lot of things. So I grew up playing tennis, man. I grew up learning how to ski, all these sort of things. And when I was 12 years old, my mom took me to Mexico. Loved it. It was a game changer. And then the high school I went to was international studies high school. So that was a specialty for the high school. So I was taking Spanish classes, elementary school, all through high school. And my sister, she had a student who stayed with us from France. So that was my first kind of foreign exchange experience. Then she went to France. A couple years later, I hosted a student from Spain, which was really cool, and then hung around the other students from Spain. I wasn't unfortunately able to go because we just didn't have the money to send me. But then a couple years later at the University of Illinois, I worked on a minor in international engineering. So I'm a civil engineer, but then I got a minor in international engineering, Latin American studies focused. So I studied at the University of Buenos Aires when I was in college, took economics classes there, took Spanish classes there, had an internship, and was there for like two months, and then had a chance to go over to Brazil while I was there. So at the age of 19, I was already doing this kind of stuff, and I was already seeing the differences between women, and hung out with a couple Brazilian ladies then, and was like, whoa, this is really different. And then from that point forward, fast forward, after working for an engineering company for a while, I started my own firm about 15 years ago, and we've been virtual for about 5 or 6 years. And then I figured out, that I could find great talent all over the world. So my entire back office, short of one person, they're all from the Philippines. And some live in Poland, one lives in Qatar, and then several live in the Philippines. So I travel for business purposes, and then project work wise, we've done some projects in the Caribbean, some with the Navy over in like Guam and Japan. So it's just kind of, more so for me, part of it is lifestyle. And then as a recently single guy again after divorce, I love traveling. So I've been traveling like never before. I think I hit 8 countries during the COVID year, while everybody else was kind of scared to travel. I was getting out there taking advantage of those deals. So this is just who I am.
Oh wow, wow. Okay. So hold on. Okay, hold on. How old are you?
Yeah, people never see it coming, man. I'm 49 actually. Yeah,
Holy!
yeah, yeah.
I would have never thought you were that old, man. Wow. You look way younger than that.
Yeah. I
That
went to Mexico in '85 and Brazil in '94, bro. So yeah.
dude, I was born in '85. Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy, man. Okay, so now you did mention that you were divorced. Like what? Like was that recently or like a while ago?
It's been like 3 years basically.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so but ever since then, you pretty much just been going abroad and just kind of like doing your thing.
Yeah, I would say so first off, I lived in Chicago pretty much my entire life, even where I went to school at University of Illinois. That's just like, hour and a half, 2 hours from Chicago. So I was always in this area, even though I wanted to travel more. But, family man, and just most of my family's based here in Chicago. So then once I was divorced, I'm like, hey, I have the bandwidth, I've done well, had the loot. So started moving around. So not only just kind of traveling, but also had a chance to live in some different places. So just in the last 3.5, 4 years, I lived in DC, I lived in Mexico, and I lived in Miami for like a year and a half, and now I'm in Tampa. And then, like I said, I always kind of keep a home in Chicago as well because I'm here so much. So I've had a chance to not only date internationally, I've had a chance to, you know, um, date women who have international backgrounds as well, especially in cities like Miami, where it's extremely international. DC is pretty international too. So, you meet a lot of women in DC who are Ethiopian, Of course, you meet the whole spectrum of Latin America in Miami, but you also get, Haitians, Jamaicans. And so I've kind of studied all these different things in terms of differences, even with women whose parents were born somewhere else. There's a little bit of a different flavor versus women who are, their parents and they were both born here in the United States.
It's funny you mentioned that because when I was on a live with Zoom to Thailand earlier today, there's a woman, a Latina woman, came on there about a named Lou Casely. Shout out to Lou Casely, because she has a YouTube channel as well. She teaches Spanish on there because I'm trying to brush up on mine.
Yeah.
Well, get better, should I say? I mean, I know the basics and words here and there, but I kind of struggle with constructing sentences and building my vocabulary up. But anyway,
Yep.
she was speaking on how people that are born here that are of other cultures said like they tend to get westernized very very quickly. So I was gonna say, like, have you ever experienced that where like there was a woman who had international ties, but she was born here, so she was more westernized per se?
It really varies. It's person to person. There are a lot of factors. I notice women who are tight with their dads have a certain kind of vibe and feel, and just how strong the culture is within their family. And then different countries, so for instance, some women I dated from Ethiopia, that culture is so strong that there's certain things that they just hang tight with it. So even though they're westernized, still is so far over here that their westernization doesn't take them all the way over when it comes to family stuff as much. Maybe, they're more secular in terms of music and some things that they do, but they're not all the way there. And then I would say, like in Miami, it's a very flossy city. So I would see people, get into the material side of things and kind of be westernized that way, but still say, listen, I understand what it is to honor a man. My parents raised me this way. I have this spiritual background, and I don't understand why women, struggle with some of those things. This is who I am, and this is what I'm about. But yet they're, leveled up, making money, that kind of a thing. So it just really depends.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so now you said you traveled to 8 countries during the COVID time. What would you say? What's the number of countries that you've traveled to, like, since you first started traveling abroad? Like, do you how many countries altogether?
I have to go back and count, and some of them depends on how you count it. Because like I've
Yeah.
been to Qatar 2 or 3 times, but just in the airport, right? But I spent like 12 hours there. I've been to Turkey 3 times in the last year and a half, but most of the time, it's 2 of the times it was just 12 hours. But I did get out, move around, because sometimes I have these layovers with these flights, and I take advantage of being in the country, and I get it in and do different things. But I'm somewhere in the 30s, I would say, and then I've had a chance to go to some really unique countries. Like I went to Ukraine just within the last year and a half. So that was a blessing to get there before all this happened, right? How many black men,
Okay, 'cause I was just about to say, like,
yeah,
wow, okay, because I was gonna say, like, man, you ain't gonna catch me footing Ukraine right now. I'll tell you that.
yeah,
Um, wow, okay.
yeah.
So out of everywhere that you've traveled, like, what would you say is probably like, I want to say your top. Nah, matter of fact, nah, because top three, that's too easy. Out of all the countries, just
Yeah,
based off of everything overall, I'm talking lifestyle,
yeah.
food, women, whatever the case may be, all those things tied in. In your opinion, what would you say is like your favorite country, or what would you think to be the best ideal country for you, or anybody that wants to do what you've been doing would go to?
Got you. Yeah, there was a lot of different components in there,
Yeah.
but I would still say holistically, if you put it all together, the travel experience, how beautiful the country is, how far your dollars can go, how beautiful the women are, how receiving the people are, what kind of opportunities you might have to be able to do your thing while there and still, survive, so to speak. It's the Philippines, hands down. And I'm biased because, like I said, I have 4 or 5 people from the Philippines. I think 5 right now from the Philippines. So I had a chance to kind of get to know them and their culture before traveling there. And I was trying to get there 2.5 years ago, but with COVID, it all was shut down. And the moment that the border opened up, so I think it was April of last year or so, I was there in May, and I went there for 4 weeks. Life-changing trip. So actually, I have a couple videos on my channel about that, show you, kind of the things I experienced. And it wasn't just like the dating aspect. It's just they're the most genuine people, the sweetest, just down to earth, just grounded. They never let themselves get down, even though they've gone through hell and back again. And the poverty level is real. The things that they've experienced in terms of typhoons and all this kind of stuff, and they always have a smile on their face. So like for me, I just love good energy. So that's the part that speaks to me, and it's mad cheap. You can do a lot with your money. And yeah, we'll talk more about it. But as far as like dating options, wifey material is everywhere over there.
Wow. Okay, man. You know what? I had a funny feeling you was gonna say Philippines because that seems to be kind of like popular on my channel recently. And let's see, it was yeah, because I had this conversation with Richie Mack earlier, and he was when I was telling him, I'm thinking about going to Thailand first, and he was saying, well, you know what? If you do that, he said, I highly suggest that you go to the Philippines also, because I was under the impression that if you didn't have a visa, you couldn't stay out no longer than 14 days. Well, come to find out, he said it was 45.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if that's the case, if I got that kind of time, then maybe I can squeeze in both during that time, because I've kind of taken a more of an interest in the Philippines lately, because for the same reasons why you're saying, because I'm like, even the fact that most of them speak English from what I hear, like relatively fluent is from what I'm being told, and what other people say that watch my channel. So with all those things factoring in, it's just kind of like, ooh, you know what I mean? I may have to look into that, but I know there are like some things here and there that they say Thailand have that's a little better. Like I think they talk about like how the infrastructure may be a little better in time. Like there's pros and cons between the two, but I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just got my heart set on Colombia. I don't know what it is.
I know what it is, bro. I know what it is.
Bro, man,
that same thing.
I'm obsessed, man.
I get it.
I be telling people in the chat, bro, it's Selma Hayek's fault, bro.
Yeah.
I saw Selma Hayek for the first time as a kid. I was like, Mom, who is that? I was like, Mom, who is that? But yeah, man. Oh my God. Okay. So
let me speak to some of that real quick. So first off, shout out to Richie Mack. Sorry I missed you last time. Whenever I'm out there, to your point, I try to bounce around, go to different places. But honestly, I love Cebu so much. It's hard for me to kind of move around as much as I want to. So this last trip, so I've already been to the Philippines twice this year. So I was there in May, then I went back again in September. And I was supposed to go to Thailand, but I had to cut my trip a little bit short. But, I had a homie who was there for like 9 months. So I've been hearing about it for a long time, and just, plus I absorb content. So they're very similar. I mean, the look of the women is very similar. Culturally, there's some differences, but they're minor. Just that South Asian kind of vibe is pervasive there. So if you like one, more than likely you'll like the other one. But to your point, everyone has a little personal taste of some different things. So from a like IT infrastructure is definitely tighter in Thailand. I probably actually like Thai food a little bit better. I eat Thai food here all the time, but food in the Philippines is solid. I would say, and again, this is generalization, and that's all we can do. Thailand is probably a little more opportunity to kind of have fun and kick it, if that's your vibe and what you're trying to do. Philippines, there's definitely plenty of opportunity to do that, but it might be a little bit more women who are on the wifey material tip. Both have that, but I think the Philippines are even more kind of family oriented. It's a very, very strong like Christian and Catholic country, and so you have the women are just a little bit more conservative. I say it that way. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to do and what your flavor is, but you can't go wrong with either of them. And then we can talk about Colombia too. I had a chance to get there earlier this year as well. But if you live in Miami like I did, you're just around Colombians all the time. And every time I would just look up in Miami, some of the baddest babes I would meet, they're always, like Colombian, and especially that kept coming up, the city of Medellin. So I finally had a chance to go there, go to the source, and yeah, it's real, man.
Mm. See, oh, and I'm like, speaking of Colombia, just saw him pop up. I'm like, yeah, man, just checking in, man. Appreciate you, man. I'm actually interviewing him and his wife tomorrow. His wife, they just got married recently. His wife is from Barranquilla.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they're like really like they are really pushing me to go there first. I'm like, and I want to. I'm like, because I'm like, I know all about the coast on Colombia because I know that's where a lot of the Afro Latinas are at too. So I'm like, you know what I mean? Because I like that. I like that kind of that cinnamon
Hmm.
caramel complexion with the long straight hair or the curly hair. Yeah, like that's it.
They
Um,
got that in space for sure, but then they got way darker than that. You know, until someone opens their
right.
mouth, you might not even know. You think, right?
And those women are beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
Like I've seen all shades over there. Like, so yeah. That's another reason why I like Colombia too. So I know it's like it's all kind of mixes and whatnot.
And by the way, I've got a couple videos, some travel blogs. So what I try to do, so my content revolves mostly around dating, relationships, marriage, that kind of content. But then I also do some travel blogs, some lifestyle, because I feel like people need to kind of see who you are and understand, some different things. And I'm blessed. I have a chance to see a lot of things that a lot of people don't. And so people like to live vicariously through my adventures. And I try to get some cultural elements. Try to get some different things, mixed into my video to make it interesting. So.
Okay, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. Shout out to my moderator. Yeah, I was gonna say like, make sure we got your information in the chat, man. Please subscribe to his channel, you guys. Yeah, I was checking some of it out when you had reached out to me, man. Yeah, y'all definitely need to check his content out for sure, man. Cause I'm like, because we're about to dive deep into that now. Because after watching your content, I was kind of like, okay, this might be the guy I need to talk to as far as the Philippines go. And now that you've pretty much confirmed that that's probably the best option, let's go ahead and dive a little deeper then. So my first question, because like I tell my people in the chat, I'm a foodie. I like food. What that food talking about? What's the food like in the Philippines?
Yeah, so my favorite two cuisines are Thai food and Mexican food. So it's kind of like interesting with me. Like I love certain Asian aspects and traveling there and women there, and I also love Latin American. And I love our food too, and I love our women too, man. I'm equal opportunity out here, and that's what this is all about to me is being able to be an informed shopper, so to speak, or as you're trying to figure out who you want to be with for life, and you're just trying to figure out who you are, what you like. You don't really know until you go in places. So I just tell people all the time, like it's not. I'm not a guy. I don't consider myself necessarily a passport bro. Just in that I don't insist that people have to go that route to find it. Now, I've certainly, had a chance to date a lot of different people, but I'm still open to everything. And truth be told, I honestly think I'll end up with a black woman here in America. We'll talk more about that. That might be a surprising thing. But I sure like to say, um, like you don't really know until you kind of experience something. We talk about people who don't get outside their city or locally and how they just think in a narrow way. It's the same thing with international travel. And once you do that and open your mind up and see these different cultures, it'll change everything. And there's a lot of things like you wouldn't even know that you like until you got there. So Colombia has some great food. Definitely you could tell that Afro influence comes in there, and the different Latin elements, they have some spicy things. Honestly, I wasn't there long enough to fully kind of get that in. I did go to a couple spots in Miami as well, because again, they're well represented there. So I can't speak to it, but what I can say in like the city like Medellin, um, in the heart of the city, there's like so many different restaurants. It's such a vibe. If you stay in the right places, you don't even need taxis. You could literally just walk around to 90% of the places that you want to go, and you can sample and try everything. And in general, the food is way cheaper. And when you're kind of further out from the tourist areas, it gets super cheap. I mean, just like stupid cheap and just ridiculous. So why not just try it all?
Okay, okay, interesting. I was gonna say, yeah. Eric said he said you right. I was gonna say because he know all about my Colombia, all about Colombia. So
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah. I was gonna say, have you ever been in the Because that was one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Medellin. Have you been to that one of those soul food restaurants that's owned by a brother? I
No,
forgot
I didn't
I
get a
forgot,
chance, man.
I forgot the name of it, but Ace
Yeah,
Live video on it a while back.
yeah.
And I think it's in Poblado, they said. Is that the
Mm-hmm.
name of it?
Mm-hmm.
Poblado?
Yeah.
I think that's the neighborhood that it's in Medellin. But
Yeah,
I definitely want to try
that's
that
a
out.
nice little lit area. Really, if you kick it there, you got 90% of what you need, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I heard that's like one of like the safest areas in Medellin too.
very
Am
much so.
okay, cool.
It's on the rise. It's like, I mean, not that it was bad before, but it's going like super next level. A lot of people moving there, a lot of buildings, and the interesting thing there, man, they make sure you feel safe.
That's what
Like,
it's called. Sweet Georgia Cafe. Thank you,
okay,
Logical
okay.
Mindset. Yep, that's the name of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to check that out. I definitely heard about it. It was a little bit of a shorter run for me. But what's so funny, man, when you ask for people for directions down there, they're so helpful. They're so open. Like people will stop their car, pull over to try to help you out. They just want you to feel comfortable. And they're, like when you're there as a tourist, because they recognize, those dollars are going a long way. And they're really catering their whole environment for expats and people who are touring because, it's a different day. When I was in college, like I was saying, I was in South America. And one of the guys that went with me to Argentina, he was Colombian. He was like, man, I think you enjoy it, but it's just not safe here. I don't think you really want to go here. So it's come a long way from back then where Colombia was one of those countries you didn't really go there unless you were from there. It's totally different right now. So I think for me, I don't like to go to places that are super oversaturated. So like I went to Puerto Rico, again this year, and I just saw I was just like, nah, I'm good. It's like a little bit everybody's there. Like you talk about DR, like nah. I like to be a little bit more out on the frontier, and even with Brazil, the right places, yes, but certain places, I'm just kind of like, I like to just be places where we have it, where people are still kind of, where it's not so new that you bleeding edge, but where it's just not, you'll have the, Pookie passport bros, passport Pookies, as my man likes to say, that are over there, and it just kind of changes. It's almost like a club, bro, right? Once we kind of get in there and the element changes, you're like, nah, I need a different look.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm like, that's what I'm hearing. Like they ruining it. So I'm just kind of like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just stay away from DR. I'm like, somebody actually mentioned that I should try Puerto Rico since technically, I mean, you don't even need a passport to go
Right.
there. But, I mean, from what he said, it ain't a bad place to go either. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything bad about it.
No,
Um,
it's not like ridiculous. It's just
like it ain't as
honestly,
bad as DR, is it?
no, and I don't mean it from a safety standpoint, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. I hate to, I don't want to sound like,
I'm just talking like
snobby.
the passport Pookie situation. That's what I was referring to. Like,
Yeah, it's not so much that, but you will see, how would I put it? Like, you'll see folks who you're like, okay, I can see you at the crib. You know what I mean? I kind of like when I go out of the country, I want to experience something different, and I don't want to feel like, okay, I'm back on the south side of Chicago, and I love my people. And by the way, my crib here is in the hood, so I'm all about that. And I like to stay grounded and touch down. We'll talk about it in a minute, man. But I've been shot at multiple times, so I'm not a bougie dude.
oh yeah,
Um,
Southside Chicago. Bro, I got a cousin who's staying Southside Chicago. I already know what you're talking about.
yeah,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
not everywhere. It's not everywhere,
right,
y'all. I hate when people put my city on blast like that, like it's just
yeah.
spooky. Now it's just certain places, certain times, but it goes down. But I share to say I love my people, I like being around my people. But when I'm out the country, I want a different dynamic and different look. And once I see, in certain places where we kind of figured it out, take it over. It's almost like Miami. Miami, certain areas 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Like if you live in Miami, you don't go to those places now. You just like that's some tourist, kind of oversaturated type stuff. You're probably gonna stay in Miami proper or the parts of Miami Beach that are still upscale and nice.
Oh, okay then. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's see.
Get some questions in here, man. I'm curious to see what people want to hear about, learn about, man.
Yeah, I
What they
was gonna
talking about?
say. Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys. I'm like, I got many questions for him, so I'm really not gonna, I'm trying not to stop because I can't have them too long outside. I'm like, so, I'm like, if you got, I'll read off a super chat or something, but I'm like, because I got a lot of questions.
I got time, man. I got time for you, bro. We're gonna
Yeah.
do this
So,
right.
so we was talking about food. Let's see. Oh yeah. So Now I mentioned you see you did mention like how your dollar stretch in Philippines. But I mean if you want to talk about the other countries, I don't mind. But in Philippines in particular, um, if you want to stick to that, like
Yeah.
what would you say? Like because I know it's gonna depend on what kind of level you want to live on, but if you had to guess, maybe like on average, like at least just enough to have your necessities and maybe still travel every now and again and go out to
Mhm.
eat. Like, what
Mhm.
would you say on average you're probably spending monthly?
Yeah, so it depends on your taste. It depends on kind of what neighborhoods you want to live in. If could take a little bit more of a risk over here versus being in the middle of the center, everything was more bougie and upscale. But definitely $500 a month, you can have a nice crib. You can have a nice crib for $500 a month in the Philippines. Yeah, I mean,
Man,
you can buy condos that are like in plush areas where close to the water for like 110 grand, and it's like ridiculous, right? Now, the problem is you can't do mortgages like you can here, so you have to have more of that cash situation. But no,
Dre,
man, you can even do $300 a month, 250, and make
Dre,
it.
Dre, Dre.
Not the cap. Cap.
No, no, 500, bro.
Yeah, real talk,
Bro, I ain't hear that, bro. I'm deaf.
real talk,
Hear
real
that?
talk.
I
No,
did not.
look, I know now you wouldn't live like a local lives and they can really stretch their money and go to the cheap grocery stores, but I know people over there that live off of $300 a month total household income, total food, everything that they do.
What?
It's that. So, as an example, um, a friend of mine I had over there a few years ago. I was talking to her. She's telling me, she was trying to just pick up a second job because she just, has the time and just trying to get a little more dough. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep my eyes and ears out. What kind of money are you looking for, and what do you make now? Because I'm assuming you want to make, close to the same. And she's like 250 an hour. So imagine if people are making 250 an hour and maintaining doing their thing. That's what it is now. They a lot of times will have 5, 6 people staying in a smaller place, right? They're what they call simple. They pride themselves on being able to do more with less, which translates, if you date somebody that way, they're not the extravagant type, right? They like to do nice things. They love to go on trips. They watch YouTube, but they're not extra flossy like that, and they know how to live off a little. So like the women will have like be kitted up, great outfits, and head to toe $5 shoes. Like they know how to like, and so you can really stretch it over there. My favorite example is getting massages. I will literally get massages like every other day. Like that's pretty extravagant. 90-minute massage, my G, $11. 90 minutes. So it's like 1/10 of what you're gonna do over here, right? Come on, man. But having said that, there are things like certain food in certain places, or you drinking at an upscale place. Now, drinks are way cheaper, but depends on where you are. Some places it's not that much of a difference, right? But there is a difference for sure. And like 1,000 pesos, Filipino pesos, it's like $20 for us. You can do a lot with 1,000 pesos, and I will put that in somebody's hands, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, no, I can't take that." So it's pretty crazy.
Man, they over here laughing at me. I'm like, yeah, because are y'all hearing these numbers? Like y'all be reacting like this too. I'm like, because don't get me wrong, I know about the exchange rate. I get it. But when you actually hear the numbers out loud and you translate it and compare it to what you spending in the States, it's
Yeah,
literally night and day.
yeah,
I'm thinking to
yeah.
myself, I spend more on my rent alone.
Hmm.
Hell, I spend more on my car note alone than what you just said people pay.
And you don't even have to have a car over there. Like literally, I
Right.
mean, taxi. You pay $2, $3, taxi all over. They have like what's called Grab. It's like their Uber. And then most people they just get these scooters, man. They're gully. I don't know. They drive crazy over there. I'm not for it, but a lot of people who are foreigners, they just have their scooters, and that's what most people do because then you're not stuck in traffic, and you can do that at a reasonable cost. It's crazy how much you can stretch it out. So a lot of people, what they'll even do is there's guys who have a setup over there because it's so cheap, and they just spend $300 a month, or they might have a girlfriend or whoever, a wife over there. They take care of her, and then they live over here, and they kind of go back and forth because the whole thing is you just have to make your time count when you're there. You can't be going there for a week or 2 weeks because the plane ticket is what taxes you. So you're probably looking at $1,500 round trip most of the time. When I was during COVID, it was like 700. So you can get over. But or if you really catch it or you're way out in front of it, you can maybe get it down to that cheap. I don't know anymore, but at one point it was like that. But it's so when you're there, you got to stay long enough, and then you're always going to make your money back and end up, coming out cheaper. Now, the best part for me is like going out on dates there. I've gone out on nice dates, dope places. Like we had a resort restaurant and have 4 or 5 little small plates, and stuff like that. A round or two of drinks, $25, $30, man. And like we're eating well, seafood, whole nine, bro. Crazy.
That's crazy, man. Like, I'm like, and in your opinion, would you say like the food? Would you say the food seems to be healthier? Because I'm like, I hear that a lot too when they go to these other countries.
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's fresher, it's
Um,
less additives and all that. And the Philippines, they're not quite as healthy as other people. They're a little more ethnic, right? They do their beef, they do their pork. Of course, like most Asian countries, they're big on rice. But in general, yeah, it is healthy. And then just the lifestyle is healthier. People are just outside all the time. People are active because it's nice all the time. It's just totally different. So I would say they're a little bit thicker than the average, Asian women from other countries. Also because they have the Latin mix, they're indigenous, the kind of Pacific Rim indigenous maybe is a little bit different. And then don't sleep. Some of them do. There's a little bit of African creep in there. So they had them morenas as well, man. They have some brown skinned people that, and some of them do. Maybe not like on the curvy Latin women's side, but they got some curves, and I know that was one of the things you in your video, like my dude, like I was kind of surprised with some curvy women. No, they
oh
got some
yeah,
curvy
oh
women.
yeah, oh yeah. Because hey, y'all, he sent me some receipts. I was like, okay, G, okay, okay. I ain't gonna question you anymore. I ain't gonna question you no more. I was like, whoa. Like, yeah, it's some thickies over there. I ain't know it was like that. I'm like, damn, I gotta
Yeah,
go
yeah.
now.
Now a
I,
couple of those were a little bit rare, because that's what she said to me. She's like, yeah, uh, but the funny part is, bro, because it's just I don't know, it's just different over there. They're not blown up about it. Super down to earth. That like the one you were talking about with that receipt. That situation, I came to Manila the first night, first time I was there. I walked into this club, was there for 5 minutes, and was trying to just get a drink. And this young lady came over to me and was like, "Hey, you want to join my friends in the section?" And I'm thinking she's representing a bunch of dudes who are just like, "Oh, we want to meet some American guys, maybe some businessmen, whatever else. We just want to meet this American guy, kind of chop it up with him."
right.
And so I was still waiting for my drink, and another guy comes over and it's like, that young lady was trying to see if you're going to come over there. I'm like, wow, they're really like pushing this. So I finally get the drink. I get over there. It's just all women. It's like 4 or 5 women, no guys. They had a bottle, and they were basically like, look, you're not buying drinks. You're just gonna, come in with us. Within a few minutes, one of them let me know she saw me earlier walk in, so that's why they, wasted no time. And she was checking me out, but then she's like, but her girl really liked me, and bro, it's so like the type of women that people are like jumping through hoops just try to get their attention. Over there, they're assertively like, hey, I want to get to know you. And then I start looking around the club, and it's just like, I got eyes, bro. By the time you start dancing, they, kind of get a feel for your energy and your vibe. It's just options on options, and it's so different. It's so different.
Wow. Oh my man, listen. Wow. Okay. So, I'm trying to think. How did we? Oh yeah. Damn, that's weird, man. Because we was literally talking cost of living, and somehow we ended up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what the guys want to hear too. I know they want to hear some of this kind of stuff.
It's cool. Yeah, I'm like, because we're gonna talk more on that, fellas. So damn, okay. So on average, um, So, oh, okay. So, what would be my next question? Okay, so let's talk. Like, I'm trying to think. I thought I just saw somebody ask that question because I kind of wanted to ask that as well.
And
Um,
I can give you some comparisons too of different countries because I've had a chance. I don't want to just focus just on the Philippines, even though that's been my favorite. Um, like I told you what I like best about that spot. I lived in Mexico for 6 months in Playa del Carmen, Mexico.
okay.
So that was dope. Cool thing about that city is, Mexico is like, it's okay. People have to think you can't just generalize a country. It's just like the United States. Every city has an identity and has, different things. So the coastal cities in Mexico have a certain feel versus the interior ones. And so Playa del Carmen is right in the Caribbean. So you can jump over to, you name the Caribbean island like in no time flat. So it has a different flavor than the rest of Mexico. And also it's a tourist city in that you've got people from all over Latin America. You got a lot of women from Argentina, Colombia, Venezuela. So it's not just Mexican women. And then also within Mexico, like depending on what part of Mexico you're in, the women and can look a lot different and kind of ethnically have a different heritage and different indigenous group. And so Playa was super dope. It's just I'm a big city guy, so I kind of get claustrophobic after a while when I can't see or do new things in certain cities, but it was super cool to go there and live there. Because also, what's cool about that is you got Cozumel is a short boat ride away. You got Cancun, you got Tulum, you got pyramids, and then getting in and out of the United States not bad. But from a dating standpoint, it's tough because they only want guys who are more so local because they're not dealing with transient guys. However, certain cities, some of the women we like transient guys because it's just they want a different flavor or their town is so small and they don't want people in their business. And so they want to just kind of be low key. So Colombia is a city where a country, especially Medellin. So I went to Bogota and Medellin. I like Medellin way better. Definitely, I like the women there better. And just culturally, I fit more. And it's just more people of African descent there. They have a beautiful kind of area where they kept the culture, and you wouldn't even know in one of my videos, I'm kicking it with dudes who were like rappers and stuff like that. And I'm an artist myself, so we talk about that, man. And bro, South America, North America, it's all the same. Like it's one love, dance wise, and so you can really fit in like culturally and things like that. And the women are super sweet. What I would say, kind of difference between Asia and South America, they're all sweet. Asia is probably on the extreme end of the sweetness. Uh, Latin America, especially South America, they're down to earth and grounded and sweet too, but maybe a little closer towards our way. Um, they are very humble in general, and these are just like gorgeous women that are just stacked up like nobody's business. Amazonian, body types, and it's so dime a dozen down there that they can't be really crazy or big headed about it,
Exactly.
and right. And so you got a lot. So it's like it depends on what you like. If you like kind of that, small waist, thick in the right places, it's really hard to like argue against that. Like Colombia, and you'll have that in Puerto Rico. You have it in different places, but Colombia is the most concentration I've seen. And after living in Miami, if y'all know those who spend a lot of time in Miami, you get so used to seeing beautiful women on a daily basis. It almost kind of messes you up because then you go to any other city in the U.S. and you're just like, But then also it's a distraction. And so I had to get out of Miami because you can't really focus the way you need to. Because literally, I would come down, I can't even get out my building, bro, and it's too much.
Mhm. Yeah, and speaking of which, you mentioned something that I kind of want to touch on, kind of like a side note. Um, you mentioned how the women down there are such a dime a dozen that they can't really be big headed or act up, and they're humble. Why, in your opinion, why do you think the women in these other countries are like that, but in the states, even though it's probably not as abundant as it is down there, because I think primarily just because of the obesity rate. Because if you eliminate, if you how can I put it, if you decrease the obesity rate, I think it would be far more attractive women in the states.
Hmm.
with the diversity that we have. But I mean, that's in my opinion. I think that's kind of a part of it. But in your opinion, what do you think?
I think there are a lot of dynamics. Definitely, that's a part of the aspect. And in these warmer climates, people are just more active, and that's just the lifestyle. I live in
Yep.
Florida, and Tampa, Miami. People are just out every single day. Getting it in all year round. And then as you see other people doing that, you're just like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be about this kind of lifestyle. I think the other part is just a lot of cultural dynamics, right? So these places we're talking about, I don't think people know how much the Matrix has messed us up, especially us, right?
Mhm.
And so that's why I'm actually I don't take I try not to take the bitter route. I try to take the better route. I'm very clear about places we have challenges, both men and women, and I try to have some empathy. I can't help everybody, but those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, I'll try to tell you, you want to be with a good dude, quality dude who's driven and doing some things. These are some adjustments you have to make, that you have to kind of pull yourself out of what you've been programmed to think and believe. So for me, I've been around a lot of beautiful women, but the part that's always the thing for me is where's your mind, where's your heart? Because I'm pretty much going to assume if I'm going to be with somebody, you're going to be attractive, but how many women, are going to have that inner beauty that matches that outer beauty, or hopefully even exceeds it.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I think I you know, I agree with you, but I think a big component of it does have to do with that obesity rate because especially when I look at countries like Brazil, which is something that a lot. That's a country a lot of people are trying to push on me, because the fitness culture is like so extreme there, and I'm like, and to a certain degree, they are right because when I remember when I first like really got into fitness, like a lot of the like female bodybuilders that I would see popping up on my feed like were literally all from Brazil.
Yeah.
And then like when you look at let's see somebody's content like a Austin Holloman and One Master Teacher, and I'm like, and they're pushing Brazil. Think his name. There's another content creator. I think his name is JPD. I think his name John Pierre something. You guys in the chat, please let me know what I'm talking about. Like these guys are all. Oh yeah, Beautiful Lies, another
Yeah.
content creator in
Yeah.
Brazil. Brazil, yeah. Shout out to Brazil, yeah. She was in my live the other night. Um, so and I see those women and I see the way they're built. And it's like you go to these beaches, you just see a bunch of beautiful women working out, walking around. Like you said, very active. I see the same thing. Videos of women walking around in Colombia, and with Colombia being elevated, you know what I mean? They say that plays a factor as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think because I'm just really big on fitness, man. Like especially nowadays, like Andrew Tate said, strong body makes a strong mind. Um,
100%.
I do believe in that. So, yeah.
Let me
So,
let me jump in on that.
yeah.
I'm with you entirely, and it is a lifestyle thing. It is cultural, and they become competitive about it, right? Because again, you're dealing with all these extremely beautiful women, and we have beautiful women everywhere, but it's about concentration. So that's what we're talking about. It's like the concentration, and so they're competing, and they're like, hey, I got to level up. But where I'm going to say is your outset, your outlook, and culturally how you're raised will set some of those norms. So like, growing up hearing healthy in the black community meant you were a little chunky, right? That was being called healthy, right? And our eating styles and just the access to food, right? They have all this fresh natural food, and what they're eating, that makes a big difference. And then the other part is a lot of these women grow up understanding that they're trained to be wives and what that means. And part of that is to make sure that they stay on top of their body, they stay on top of their fitness, that they're always looking good as long as they can for the husband. And if they're not married, to set themselves up to be, highly attractive. So that mindset is far more like engraved in some of these places that we're talking about. So these women are a lot more about that life because they feel like that's part of their feminine gift, if you will, if you want to say it that way.
Okay. All right. So yeah, let's talk about so yeah, because I remember we was discussing this earlier when you were talking about the women. So nightlife, like like what would you say, like depending on what you're looking for, women, like as far as nightlife go, would be like good places to go, or you know, or maybe like like clubs, bars, like anything that's like really popular. Because I know of a few places that I'm already hip to. Like I know I think there's Club 808 in Thailand.
Mm,
I've heard of Club Delirium, and I think Club Delirium is in Medellin. It's somewhere in Colombia. I'm not sure.
yeah.
It's either Medellin or Cartagena, one of the
Mhm.
two. Like is there like like anything like you recommend as far as like I mean, because I know it probably depends on whether they're looking for something serious or
Yeah.
just something to kind of kick it with. Like what would you recommend to the brothers that's watching?
Yeah. Is there a particular country or city? Because I mean that's a
Um,
lot.
I mean, you can go with. I mean, if you want to start with the Philippines and just kind of work your way
Mhm,
down, or like whatever you
mhm.
think is best.
Yeah.
If you think like like the real hot spots, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean,
So okay. Yeah. So I'll start with Cebu, Philippines. That's where I spent the most time. It's the second largest city, so it's kind of like a Chicago, so to speak, to the Philippines. A lot of business, a lot of opportunity, but then it also has a lot of great natural areas around it, and it has an island called Mactan, which is kind of adjacent. So Mactan is where the airport is, a lot of resorts. So there's some cool places there. It's a little more small. It's a little smaller, a little more low key, but some great bars. So like if you want a bar where there's mostly going to be beautiful women that work there because they know, hey, this is going to get the guys in, especially the people who are foreigners or expats in. They got them, and where you're not having to fight to try to get a girl's attention. The servers are kind of set up to actually sit down and kick it with you, and they partially have a commission structure. As you buy more drinks, they make more money. So you always have those spots, and that's a great way to just kind of meet people, understand the culture. Some of those women are not necessarily what you might look for long term wifey material, but they're cool to kick it with. And some are, it just depends. So you got those kind of spots. You have like the regular stuff you have in big cities. So one of my homies out there in Cebu, he owns a rooftop called the View. That's dope spot. So they have like these rooftops on top of buildings, like skyscraper buildings with great views. They have nightclubs that are just like anywhere else. And the great thing is, man, they play our music. So this is the big difference as being a traveler now. Our
oh,
culture is so pervasive that you can really feel at home. Now, there's some spots that play a lot of EDM, and if you're not into that as much, but they're gonna get some hip hop in there. They're gonna get some reggaeton in there, and the women know how to dance to it. The guys kind of know how to dance to it. But you come over there with a little swag, with kind of knowing how to move around here in the United States, and you will feel right at home. So that's part of the big difference now. Is it's not like you have to like kind of sell yourself out culturally wise to try to be around some of the women. They love it, and then they're looking at you to kind of see what it is because they can only see some of it remotely. So when you come over there, it's almost like you're a reality show star where they automatically assume certain things about you. And I've gone to clubs where the bouncers and the security guys just be patting you on the back as you're walking by. They're just like excited to see you, like people genuinely. And then where women will just roll up and dance with you sometimes, but it's not always like that. But in general, what I'm saying is, bottom line, whatever you're pretty much looking for and you can do here, you can find it in these places. I'll probably be better served shooting you a list, so we could do it. We could do a post of some different places. I had a chance to kick in a couple of neighborhoods in Manila. It's just you want to find the spots that are lit, and like you could just ask people and say, okay, where are most of the tourists and where's it lit? But then if you want a different experience where it's more low key, because some people want that experience, you can get that. But yeah, maybe we'll do a video on that, man, and just break it down. It's so hard for me, like on the spot, to just hit the names. But what I always do whenever I travel, I ask a lot of questions. I ask people ahead of time. I ask people when I'm there, and I build a list. And so I have no problems with sharing my list of different places to go: Medellin, Cebu, Manila, Puerto Rico, Playa, a couple different countries that I spent significant time in.
oh, okay then. All right. Okay. Okay. So, see, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and talk about what the people want. Before we get to that, how you doing, Miss Darlene? This is she, I'm Miss Darlene. I think I'm gonna officially make you like the lady of the channel. She's always showing love. I did an interview with her as well. Um, so Miss Darlene, we about to start discussing the women. Just I mean, I don't want to tell you to cover your ears or anything. I mean, we all grown. I'm just saying. Caution, caution, caution. So yeah,
And let me speak to that real quick. I, for me, like, so if y'all get a chance, check it on my channel. I have a series called 100 Reasons Why Black Men Are Going Overseas for Love. And the whole point of it, honestly, is not just to say black men, this you got to go here, you got to go do this, and forget American women, forget black women. It's actually my personal thing is it's messed up on all sides. We all need help, but the best way we can do it is to kind of work together. Because if we talk about having quality relationships, it should start with us not having this battle of sexes, but also it means if it's hard for us to express to women what we want, what we need, sometimes when people see examples and see how it works, then they can understand it a little bit better. So I'm trying to help black women, like they ask, well, what is it? What is it? Well, I'm trying to give you these things. And it's not to say that you're less than, you're not. You're fantastic. I love my mother. I love my sister. I have 2 black daughters, right? I'm about it, but we have some things that the matrix has done to us that we need to adjust. And I'm just trying to show you sometimes through some other cultures how they didn't get the same indoctrination and how they're staying truer to what it was for us before all this probably happened to us, right? Or even with our grandmas and great grandmas and what it was like. And just men are we just trying to get back to some of that, right? So I just want to put that out there because I have on TikTok, that's the biggest platform I'm on. Probably 80% women and probably 80% of those are black women, right? And a lot of my content is around their concerns. I talk about emotional abuse, narcissism, all these sort of things that a lot of women go through. So I just want to be clear, man. I'm a bro where I'm on both sides, but I am a man and I'm gonna keep it a buck. So let's get into it, bro.
Okay then. So when it comes to the women, okay, so I guess we'll start. Okay, well, okay, I want to say like maybe like a two-parter to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
When because I remember you said that when you first came on, you said because you've been traveling since you was young. For y'all that just came into the chat, you guys, this guy's been traveling. You said since 19.
12 actually was my first overseas trip, but on my own since 19.
So we're talking 30 plus years. Well, 35 plus. So when you first started noticing the differences between the women overseas versus the women here, what were those differences in particular? I want to start there first.
Yeah. So when I was 19, man, it blew my mind. So I went to Buenos Aires, Argentina, which at the time basically had next to no black people. I mean, 0.01%. And most of the people who were darker skinned were Brazilian. Right. So everybody assumed I was Brazilian. When they found out I wasn't, then they think you're an NBA player because I'm like 6'1". I was taller than 95% of the people there. So then I did run into a couple Brazilian women who lived there. And bro, they were just so happy to see a black man and they wanted to take me out. They didn't want me to pay. They were trying to close deals with me. Like, it was like, I was like, whoa, I'd never seen this before. And they were very nice looking women. Right. So that was my first experience. And then then I stayed on Copacabana Beach for like a week while I was there. And I didn't get enough time to really kind of see what it was. But from what I was hearing from other guys, it just, I already knew back then, it was just way less complicated, way more where it's just like women don't have the same kind of built-in trauma or negative outlook with men. And they feel like they really appreciate, value men and need men. And then because of the financial situation, not that they're like desperate for money or whatever else, but we're talking about a lot of places that don't have Social Security. They don't have welfare. They don't have, these food programs. And so that changes people's dynamics, especially like the Philippines. Most of the people have a lot of kids because that is their retirement plan, that their kids will give them money when they get older. Otherwise, they're going to basically have to work until they're in the ground. So when you kind of have that mindset, and it's not so much like, I don't need a man's financial resources, it shifts things. So just the dynamic is so different. And in the Philippines, in my 6 or 7 total weeks I've been there this year, I've met a lot of women, and a lot of times it's just because it's just super, super easy. And they give true signals like nobody's business. So, I still think that men should level up. You should be on the top of your game. You should be comfortable. You should be confident, all that, right? Don't just take the shortcut because it's easier. Because then some of the like the baddest ones there, which you may not even be able to sniff over here, you still got to come with it some over there, right, to pull them. Especially nowadays, they're more and more adept. But just in general, they just have a favorable outlook for men, and just the energy is just warmer and more inviting. That's the biggest first thing that I would say.
Mm, interesting. That seems to be a common theme that I'm hearing across YouTube with other travelers as well. Austin Holloman stressed like it was like I think it was like a short, or maybe I'm wrong, but like he literally recorded a woman um, rejecting him, but he wanted
Mm-hmm.
to emphasize that she wasn't being nasty about it,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, kind of like coming off like she was like you were beneath her, kind of like how women would carry themselves over here when you're cold approaching.
Yeah. They
Which
would be appalled to do that over there. Like that goes against their culture. Like they're so grounded and so just like want to be warm with people. So you can talk to anybody. So you'll see in some of my videos, man. I try to show real women so everybody in there is somebody that I either went out on dates with, or they're just like female friends I hung out with, and everybody's just so warm and inviting. And because they love American culture and they want to learn more, it's just like you can just talk to anybody, and what happens from there happens. But yeah, that is very true. But the thing is, even more so, they also are more wired towards marriage, and they want to be married, and they're trained, at an early age to say a major goal is to have kids and to be married and to have a husband. So at 18, man, they're like ready to hit the street and like politic and see what it is. And we have people who are professionals and go to school and do all that too, but it's much more top of mind. So when you have women who kind of have that energy versus I'll take some male attention, but I'm not really pressed about this because maybe I don't really trust men, or maybe I'm focused on my career. It's a different dynamic.
yeah, see, it's funny you mention that because that's something that I be trying to tell, like, especially female detractors that come on my channel, because the first thing that they want to do is talk about how, I mean, it's gotten so bad that you got these women shaming these foreign women,
Yeah.
like they're broke and they don't got this and they don't got that. I'm like, y'all do realize that a lot of these women work. A lot of these women are actually educated.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, but even the ones that are, they still put getting a family and a husband first. That's the difference. And you literally just explained that. And this is coming from somebody who's been traveling 30 plus years, you guys. So I really don't understand why you have such negativity coming from women when it's like, have you even traveled?
Yeah.
How do you know this? Because there's people watching my channel that have traveled and they tell me constantly how no, these women are educated, Jerome. No, these women, you know what I mean? So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, is this just a shaming tactic, or are the women really just that naive that they really don't know what's going on in these other countries?
Yeah. I think it's a combination of things, and I've definitely hung out with attorneys, doctors, business owners, different, and then folks who are just, trying to figure it out. But man, always on point, dressed nice, well spoken, and which, by the way, going back to what you talked about before, Cebu, 90% of people I talked to had phenomenal English. Like you could literally get by and not know anything about their language and communicate with almost everybody. Now, Philippines is way more than most places, Cebu in particular, because they have so many call centers. But even places like Colombia, people are getting better with that. It clearly helps a lot when you can speak Spanish, and even like Brazil, if you know Spanish, people can understand you. You can communicate enough. So I do tell guys, get put some time in, and also just shows respect for that culture, right? They want to see that you're invested as well. But getting back to what we're talking about, I think I look at root causes, man. That's what I try to talk about on my channel. Is not just look at the fruit of what people are doing. I like to come down the chute and get to the root. And the root is, Black women have been beat up. They have not been esteemed the way they want. They've had, dads leave out on them. They've had a lot of trauma, right? And they've had a culture and a world that have said that they're not as beautiful. They're less than. And so, unfortunately, they are using shaming language because now in their mind it's triggering because they didn't get healed from some of those things. And so when they hear brothers going overseas to find love and look at women, it's kind of like a direct, well, what's wrong with me? And it's difficult because the truth is really innately nothing is wrong with you. Love you, most valuable you women in the world, when you're healthy, when you have the right mindset, when you can be aware of what men's needs are and you're not just pushing that to the side and just thinking about what you want and you don't have this entitled mindset. So that's a lot of when you. So I'm trying to help women to remove those things, because if women just get basic things like honoring and respecting a man, you will stand out. You will stand out because in this country, we don't get that. In the East, that's what all that they're about. So it's just like these twists, these minor little tweaks that you can pull yourself out of the programming and the culture and thinking about, I'm an independent. That's your ultimate paradigm. Be interdependent. You were made to be interdependent, to work with people, to designed to be connected. You're connected beings. So get out that matrix. And then, yeah, you can compete. But then also, like you talk about, you got to be about this fitness game. You got to be about just some other things, not the things you think we want, like that you make a lot of money or that you leveled up or all this other stuff. We're not looking for men. Those are men attributes that are highly favorable. We're looking for complements, not competitors.
Thank you. Thank you. And speaking of which, I'm so glad you brought that up because somebody just popped up in the chat, and hopefully I'll be able to collab with her here in the future. Because let me tell you something. When I saw her in my comments and I saw a woman attacking this beautiful woman that you see on the screen here about her just being natural, like wearing her natural hair and stuff, don't you know there was a female that commented and said it pretty much the typical shaming language, I'm like, she might as well should have just called her a pick me, Andre. You feel me? And I'm thinking to myself like, yo, you mean to tell me that's what she looks like naturally? That's her hair. That's her. Mm-hmm. She's fit. I don't see anything wrong with her. Fellas in the chat, do y'all see anything wrong with? I mean, hey, to each his own, but I see a beautiful woman on the screen. So when I saw that, I was kind of like, nah, you know what? And let me tell you, it was plenty of other people that was in the comments that had her back. So it wasn't just me. But I'm like, I'm always looking out for that because I'm like you. You know what? Don't get me wrong. Only 4% of my viewers are female.
Okay.
But the women that do watch my channel, like they rock with me.
Yes. So, yeah.
For the most part, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? She went through, like you said, like just from trying to break away from what you stereotypically see now from women, and she's being shamed for it. And that's one of my concerns when you try to come to these solutions, Andre, because we have to protect women like her because there's far more women that are not like her. Like women like her that think like her are not in an abundance. I mean, look what she says. They work. They're just not materialistic like most American women, which is what you alluded to earlier. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't understand what these women expect when we're trying to, like you said, when we're trying to expose exposed you to these other cultures to give you an idea of how things work and why their divorce rates are so much lower than us, and why these countries are so much happier than us and are so much more pleasant than us, even though their economy is far more worse than us. I stress these things and these differences on my channel all the time. So when I ask women these questions, they don't have an answer. So it's like, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like you said, man, you gotta expose them to something different, so that we at least try to get back to, like you said, like at least to something like what our grandparents had. I'm like, at least give me that.
Yeah. And you can't get everybody, right? Not everybody's gonna get it, but you don't have to. So my job is to put it out there, gently try to lead some folks. And, there are going to be some who take it. And then, like you said, they're going to run with it. So we got to protect those who do. And this is a process, man. This is all still a lot, really kind of new, right? This is the last few years where everybody's kind of waking up and everybody's got to that point of frustration where people have to listen. You have those who don't have hard heads and hardened hearts where they will, like, you know what, I want to understand. I want to be competitive out here. What do I need to do? And that's what they would do with a job interview, right? Or anything else. If you're not getting a job and you keep getting denied over and over again, you start to say, well, what's wrong? Or if you open a restaurant and you're losing business and this other restaurant across town is getting everybody in there, go over there and visit there. See what they're doing differently. See what their customer service game is like. And don't just assume you just have the best thing because you've always had it and you're entitled to the same customers. No, you have to bring it. Democrats have to fight to keep Black people there. You can't just say we've been there. So in any other paradigm, people get that, but somehow when it comes to like romance and all these things, it's kind of just like, you're shamed into one thing. But the fact is, if you're a Black man, you have a child, it's going to be a Black child. And you can raise that Black child to love and care about Black people. And if you're a Black man and you find love overseas, you can still be committed to your people and you can still work to help your people. So I don't ever like to tell anybody what you have to do or what's best for you, because who gives you peace, who gives you joy, who makes you feel fulfilled, and who maybe God has for you, nobody can tell you that.
Facts, man. Facts.
Don't get me started, man. I'm sorry, bro. You want to talk about the overseas, but man, this is what I do. This is what I'm passionate about.
You good. Now you good, man, because I think that was one of the things that kind of made my channel blow up, because it was a sister I was reacting to, and it was just the behavior, and like I ain't gonna lie, like I had to use that bleep sound effect quite a bit. Let's just say that. But I don't know, but ever since that video, my channel took off. So I guess my question is, while we're on that topic, what solutions can we come up, like, because here's my thing, because here's what my solution has always been, and I usually use this because this is the best example, because this is how I was raised. So hey,
yeah, sorry.
So I was raised in a two-parent household. Now, my mom was actually the breadwinner, bro, but the roles were never like crossed over. My mom always did the cooking and cleaning, but stuff that involved maintenance outside of the house, my dad took care of that. Okay. And I think that's one of those things that women forget. And it's kind of like, I could see that dynamic probably changing if you're probably like in a condo or an apartment, so you're not worried about yard work. But I'd imagine most people, if you're raising a family, you want to have a house at some point, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if the whole 50-50 thing is an issue for women, which I kind of find crazy, because there's only, last time I checked, I did a video, there's only about 13% of men that make 6 figures or more. So y'all really ain't got a whole lot to choose from, and that's including married men and and men that are not heterosexual. So good luck with that. But my whole thing is that if y'all can't really if y'all can't really do that, or y'all want to try to intertwine, some of the female roles that are typically traditional, try to make men do them. Why is it that the minute a man starts talking about, okay, well, are you going to start taking the trash out? Okay, well, are you going to start cutting the grass? When it starts snowing, and all about that because you from Chicago, you gonna go out there early in the
Right.
morning and shovel that driveway.
Yeah.
You gonna go out there and start that car and warm up so that way when you go to work, you ain't got no issues getting out. I'm just saying, I think about things like this because I grew up seeing this in my household. So, and that's with my dad not being a breadwinner and my mom. And it's funny because I just had a conversation with my mom, and my mom told me, yeah, your dad might have made less than me, but he still made decisions in the house. She said, I handled the finances because I'm good with math. I'm good with numbers. She was like, why do you think you're so good with numbers? I was like, okay, so obviously I got that from my mom. But my mom said, yeah, but when it came to decisions and stuff, she was like, yeah, everything went through him first. She was like, so don't think just because he made less money than me that was the case. So I don't know. Maybe I just come off different from women that disagree with me because maybe they wasn't just raised the same way I was raised.
Yeah.
I was raised traditionally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I want because based on what I've seen, that's what works. Like my parents have been married 30 plus years.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree, bro. Again, I like to get to the root, and I think the root is we've been lied to, right? And especially I feel sorry for women because they have been sold this bill of goods to say you don't have value unless you bring these things that a man brings, unless you are getting X or Y degree, making six figures, unless you are a boss, unless you are X, Y, and Z, or unless you're more physically imposing and you're tough, or you're not going to take any stuff. And then we grew up in neighborhoods where everybody had to be on edge, everybody had to be tough, everybody had to be able to curse somebody out, otherwise you're going to get walked over. And unfortunately we didn't know how to turn that down or mute that when we come home, or to get beyond those places. And then when people are raised in households where they see people going back and forth, where you never see a woman honor a man, or as a little boy, especially now with all the single parent moms, you never see men in leadership. You don't know what that is. I'm on a board for a nonprofit called By the Hand Club in Chicago, man, and it really struck me. The last meeting, we always have people who are working in the trenches come in and talk to us. And this lady was saying her first day on the job, she felt so satisfied because a little boy came to her and said, you're telling me I can be a leader. I didn't know boys can be leaders. I don't see any boy. Are you sure I can be a leader? Because all he saw was women all the time doing things and leading things. And she affirmed him and like, no, that's the way God made it. Boys can be leaders, and they're meant to be leaders. Women can be leaders too, right? But yes, as a young man, yes, you can be a leader. He's like, thank you. I didn't know. That really just kind of blew my mind. But that's, we're getting young boys who are being emasculated. We're getting women who are told like you don't have value outside of using your body the wrong way, or just kind of having a male stat sheet. And then they come out here and think that, the more that they can kind of have the male persona, that translates in every area, including in relationships. And that's where we have these dynamics that just aren't working because people don't know what's wrong all the time. And as men, I know I was slow to kind of figure out because we all raised around strong women a lot of times, because I didn't have quite the same setup as you have. And then you realize like, man, I can't be in a situation where I have to wonder if she's going to see me and value me as a leader and allow me to fail sometimes, or she's going to try to take over every time something doesn't go the right way.
Yeah, man. So I guess I wanted to say, just one more question on the women, and man, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go because we've been going for almost an hour and a half.
I know it's going super fast. I'm riding with it, so I like have somebody holding down my daughter. So if y'all don't mind her popping in and out, it's whatever,
Yeah, because it don't even feel like we've been talking that long because we just over here like, we vibing, man. So when it comes to the women that you have dealt with overseas, would you say the Filipinas, would you like put them as like your number one? And if so, why?
Okay. The big thing is what you're looking for, not just in kind of traits, but are you somebody who's trying to find a wife? So that's why I am, divorced, like I said. And by the way, just to give people the backdrop, I was in an 8-year relationship from age 16 to 24, got married at the age of 24, was married for 21 years. And now I've been, kind of between separation, divorce, 3, 4 years since then. So I've seen this thing at every end of the spectrum, had my chance to figure some things out. So for me, it's all about at this point, finding somebody who is really my God assigned, like soulmate, where we're aligned, purpose wise and everything else. So that's what's most important for me, and those qualities that kind of come with it. Now, if it was just more about like a look I like and body type, that kind of thing, that Medellin, Colombia, bro, it's hard to, because they are sweet with it. But I would say the closest I've seen in terms of consistently seeing women who kind of align with me spiritually, physically, all those different things where I don't have to feel like I have to settle. I say the Philippines is more so that for me personally. But again, I kind of had some insights as to how this might go for me. I still think I'm going to end up with a black woman from America, but I'm going to have a rare gem. Got to. Can't, I'm not settling on any of these things we talked about, but I believe that might be part of my calling is to show people something different because it's so few and far between. But I just let God lead it, man. And, I'm kind of in a place now where I've done my thing, trying to just chill. I'm actually not even dating right now, bro. I'm on shutdown. I'm just doing me, just focus on me, focus on God, just leveling up my business. I just started a nonprofit, focus on my kids, just that kind of thing, just letting everything else come to me. So my process is a little different than maybe other people.
Oh, okay. Well, so like you literally monk mode right now.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay. All right.
Nothing.
Oh, same here, bro. I'm right there with you.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to do anything till I leave the country. Like real talk. Um, well, well,
And by the way, I was on that too. Like right before this period, I was kind of like, I'm just gonna kind of be done with dating in America right now, unless somebody really knocks me off my feet or shows me something different, or maybe I get out here and there. But I'm not. My expectations are just kind of because once you see something different like that, it's hard to unsee it, bro. And you haven't even been, so that's. But you do your homework, and I really respect that. You talk to a lot of people, you dig in. So, bro, once you go, I'm scared to see you.
oh man, oh yeah, yeah. I was gonna say real quick. Come on,
Mhm.
that was actually a really hold on. Where was it at? That's a really good question, and Dub. I'm like, do the women overseas notice this independent mindset? That these women carry over here in the West. Do they notice that? Because I've had women that are watching me from overseas say the same thing. Like they say they notice it and they don't like it. Like what you think about that? Do they?
I've definitely had conversations, and they see the
Okay.
differences, and they see the edge, and they see certain things, and they also just see how they don't value us. Like, some of these women overseas, just like black men are, well, we love it on all these levels, like flavor. First off, some of them have to get over like they think, from TV that they think we might be a little more violent, whatever else. So like the stereotypical stuff that they put out. But once they get past that and they realize like, oh no, you just cool, you just like regular folks like me. And then most of them, once they have a chance to date a black man, they're just like, I met so many women who are like, that's what they want. But then the hard part is they don't get that many that come there. So then that's why when you come there, they're just like, they're on it. And yes, they watch other content and have fantasies and things like that. And but it's not just about the sexual prowess and that sort of thing. They just genuinely like the energy, and they feel like it fits very well with them. But yeah, they do talk about how they can't really understand black women sometimes the way black women act, and they kind of make a difference sometimes between kind of black men versus black women. But now again, they're women who are interested, so there's some obviously some personal stuff in there, but no, I've definitely had those conversations.
Oh, okay then. All right. Well, that's good to know because I definitely get comments because I was supposed to have an interview with a woman that's from Norway, but she kind of backed out. And part of the reason why she backed out is because, like, bro, it's so traditional over where she's from. She was married, but her husband passed.
Mm.
Bro, when I tell you, this woman had to get permission from her father to do an interview with me.
Yeah, yeah, that's real.
I was like,
Yeah,
that
man.
that right there alone just goes to show her father sees what's going on over here,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
her father looked at my content and was like, he was cool with it at first, but I think he probably had a second thought and was just kind of like, you know what, I don't want my daughter getting in the middle of that, because
Yeah,
he probably sees how these women are quick to throw shade at these foreign women too. So I
yeah,
wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if that has something to do with it. So it's just really
yeah.
sad, man. It's really
And,
sad.
and and also, I would say this. I can't speak for Norway. I've been to several countries in Europe, but I didn't date as much then. It was more so I actually went with somebody who I was dating at the time, so I didn't have a chance to kind of see the market over there. But I've been to, like, like I said, Turkey, been to mostly Eastern Europe, Germany, Moldova, Ukraine, and Romania. But what I will say is in Asia and in South America, to your point, the relationship, just family is just really a big thing, and they're really tight. And the patriarchy, or in terms of, in a good way, that women appreciate their fathers and their advice of their fathers, and they respect it. And so it just translates. But the one thing I will say is that sometimes they do fall in love quick, especially like in the Philippines, man. That they are so kind of trained to really value family and love and having that person and all that, and they're not as just, they're a little bit more naive sometimes. And this is why, like, I don't like to put guys on to going over there just for them to just take advantage and be on trash. I don't really appreciate that. But
Right.
the truth is, like, you have to be careful, because you just kind of do how you move in America, where you just, hey, we hang out, we cool, but just giving people that time and attention, and it's not much money to you, but you spend a little money on them. A lot of times you're exposing them to things that they have never done. There were girls who had never been to the big mall in their area, and they lived there, had never seen a Marvel movie, had never, had certain types of foods that I was like giving them their first experience. And so it's a lot for some people to take in. A lot of them never get to some of these resorts that are right there in their hometown, literally in their backyard. And so just the exposure piece is kind of, so you have to be a little bit careful. You have to be a little bit cautious. And even if you're saying the right things and saying, listen, I've been in a long relationship, I'm just trying to chill right now, just your actions and your energy can kind of, send some people off, because they're really thirsty to find it. And a lot of them are checked out on their dudes, because, like, their dudes, they feel like are deadbeats, or not good dads, or not taking care of business, or not, handling things. So they're looking at foreigners as people who are more responsible, have it together. And if you're over there as a foreigner, they already know comparatively you have money just to have bought the plane ticket to be over there, and know that if you make 40 or 50,000 in the Philippines, you're a baller. You're a baller over there, right?
Right.
US, right? So, if you're a six-figure guy over here and can do some things over here, it's kind of not even fair sometimes, honestly, from that standpoint. But again, they're not about the money. They're more so about just that somebody is safe, and that they know that they can have some financial security, and they're not going to have to be like their mom, wondering if their kids are going to be able to pour into, their financial needs late in life. That's really what it's about for them. And also, I'll dispel this myth. Most of them don't want to leave their country. Most of them
Thank
love their
you.
country. They're super tight with their family. They don't want to make that adjustment. Some of them will, but they much rather prefer to stay there. So it's not about this green card thing. It's not about, well, they're just trying to get over here. And we have materialistic women everywhere, and you have some of them there, but the majority I've seen, it's not about that at all, at all. And they're cool with very, very little, you know?
Right. Right. Well, I want to thank you, man, for coming on, man. Did you have? I ain't have any more questions. Did you have anything for me, or would you have any last words for the people watching?
Yeah, a couple things, man. So first off, bro, I love what you do. I'm so glad for this opportunity. Thank you for having me on, man. So
You.
much respect for your content. A few things, man. Y'all got to support this, bro. He's one of the guys out here who's like, he's real, and that's what I love, man. You break down in tears. You have those moments, like you keep it a buck all the time, and I know that this is like sincere work for you, man. So I appreciate you and value you, brother, for what you do, man. You don't get enough credit. Plus, you got the best sound effect, and you got the best in the business, bro. You crack me up. But I love, my favorite thing is when somebody, you kind of chilling, then all of a sudden I just see that, and then next thing you know, you going nuts, man. They push those buttons, man. Oh, it cracks me up every
Oh
time, bro.
man, yeah,
Even
man.
when it's not funny, it's funny just to see you kind of get. So
Like sometimes it just calls for it, man. Because just sometimes I'm
yeah,
just kind of like, man, like really, like did you really do that, or like
yeah,
did you really say that?
yeah,
I'm just kind of like, oh nah, man. I'm not letting that slide. But
yeah,
yeah, man, thank you, man. I
yeah,
appreciate you, man. I appreciate that you enjoy the content, man.
yeah. And audience, should we do this again? Y'all want us to do this again and
Yeah,
kick it around some more? Let us know, and definitely come rock with me. Appreciate a brother who's further along than me. I'm still new at this, just getting it going. And honestly, I spend most of my time on TikTok, so I'm trying to build up my YouTube audience. And I just hired somebody for the Philippines to do my video editing, so I can really get it in with YouTube. So yeah, Ask Andre channel. Ask Andre is what it is on YouTube. I'm on Spotify, same thing. Ask space ANDRE. I'm also on TikTok, and that's Ask Andre channel. About to get it going on IG as well, and that's also Ask Andre channel. So let me know what things y'all want to hear about, talk about. Want to come back with Rome? Maybe we get a group of bros, talk some more. And I want to bring some ladies in. I love to have some conversations with ladies on these kind of things, and I'm about how can we be better together as people. Let's have civilized conversations. Let's make it intellectually honest. And let's just try to, find some room for negotiation where we can all say, all right, here's something we can all agree on. We can all be better. Both sides need to level up. Guys aren't where they need to be. There's trash on both sides, but we can focus on that all day, or we can talk about it together and get somewhere. Let's do it.
right. Yeah, yeah. See, look, they already saying, yeah, look, they already said like, yeah, we got to bring him back. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make sure I bring him back, man. Yeah, look, see, yeah, man, that's love, bro. Yeah, man. Please,
Respect.
check it out. Subscribe to his channel, man. He got dope content, very informative. Um, you said 100 reasons why again. What was that again? 100 reasons why.
100 reasons why men are going overseas to find love, and it's an emphasis on black men. So it's a 4-part series. I did it on Spotify. It's like a podcast, so it's a little bit of a slower. It's more of a sipper while you going to work or whatever. But I put it over on YouTube with visuals because I like to give brothers receipts so you understand kind of how I move. Because a lot of people do this, but like you might be like, that's not really my clientele. So you kind of get an understanding. So check that out. That's been my most popular video series thus far. But trust me, I'm just getting started, y'all. I'm about to take this thing another level. Obviously, I got a lot going on, but I'm very passionate about this. And let's do some things.
All right, all right. Hell yeah, man. All right. Well, again, man, I appreciate you for coming on. That will definitely link up again here soon in the
So,
future. Try to Oh man, try to get some. You know what? I might be able to work that out with trying to get some ladies here on with us at the same time because I'm actually the lady that was in the young lady that was in the chat earlier. I believe her name was Tammy. She's supposed to be emailing me because I told her that I was going live, so I'm not surprised that she showed up because I was just going back and forth with her in the What I was talking about her earlier in the comments, that was literally happening prior to me coming on live to you. So,
nice.
yeah, so hopefully she'll be coming on in the future. I can always reach out. There's a older Latina lady. Check this out, Andre. This woman bought her son a passport.
Mm,
It's
mm.
Austin Holloman was right. It's that bad. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
right. So I can see if I can try to get them all on here at the same time. Maybe Miss Darlene, who I got on the screen.
Yep.
If I could try to get her on here as well. Yeah,
I
we
got
get
some Filipino friends that are content creators, man. I can bring them in if you want to kind of get that side too,
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we're gonna have to chop it up on the email, man. We gotta get that popping, man.
Let's
Definitely.
work.
All right, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go because it's like almost 2 hours, man. I said you got your peoples on there. I want to let you have your time with your folks. Thank you again, man. Thanks for taking the time. I'm definitely gonna keep in contact with you, man. Thank you so much, man.
No,
Thank you.
thank you. And one more shout out. I got to shout out my son, Caleb, up and coming fashion designer, 16 years old. He's going to be the next Virgil Abloh. I'm working with him on building the brand for shoes and everything else. So I'm rocking his pants right here tonight. So we talk about love. So want to shout him out real quick. You want to say hi? No? You chilling? All right, man. I got to get my peoples, heartbeat props. Much respect, brother. Looking forward to working with you. Thanks, y'all.
All right, man. All right, thank you, brother. See what we got here, man. Marv L with the $5 super chat. Respect the brother Andre for joining us. Great interview. A lot of honesty regarding travel and advice from men. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Yeah, man. That was dope, man. I love that conversation, man. That was very informative. Like a little touched on a little bit of everything, man. What's going on over here and the travel, man. So that's definitely what's up. I'm glad to see everybody wanting to come back. I definitely want to get like a panel going, man, where it's like where we got like 4, 5, 6 people. Miss Darlene, we need to get you a webcam. We got to get you up on here. Cause I don't know if you're gonna be able to get on from your phone. I'm gonna reach out to Miss Lily. Yeah. You know what? Hey, Eric A, yeah, I was gonna say we might have to get you in on that conversation as well. Damn, man. I think I just stumbled across something, y'all. Might be on or something. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be reaching out. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be reaching out to some guys. Yes, thank you, Ken B. Thank you. Right, that's impressive, man. I'm like, and I was gonna ask him about them jeans too, because I was like, damn, them jeans kind of lit. Like where you get them from? Like, man, his son made them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Shadow Slayer. Yes, sir. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. Hold on, what? Hold on, Miss Lily. Hold on, Miss Lily was on her phone when she was live with me. She was on her phone. Damn. You know what, Miss Darlene? We gonna have to figure out how to get you to set up StreamYard on your phone. Then I'm like, for real, for real. That's who I really want to get on here at the same time because both of them are Latina. So I would love to get Miss Darlene and Miss Lily here at the same time. I think really be like that'd be a really good conversation to have. Like two Latinas. Yo, shout out to Vernon DP with the $5 super chat. These interviews will change the game. Just please vet them. Okay. Well, I mean, I did my homework on Ask Andre, man. He's pretty solid, bro. Um, the guy that I interviewed from Vietnam. I mean, like, let me tell you something. Vernon DP. Everybody that's reached out to me for an interview, they shown me receipts. You know what I mean? Because he showed me receipts. When he showed me them Filipinas, I was like, okay, okay. I looked at some of his content. I was like, okay, okay. You know what I mean? And the same thing with who else? Oh yeah, when I collab with Miss Lady Di. Shout out to Lady Di. Dating marriage to support. Oh man, I might be butchering her name, but yeah, Lady Di. When she came on here, I looked her up. She was official. Literally got a picture on her banner of her married. Like she official. Oh, Are you talking about? Oh, well, hold on. I don't want to skip this super chat. Eric A with the $5 super chat just because, fam. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for that, sir. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all my super chats, man. Thank you so much. Um. Oh, so you said it's not the men that you're concerned about? Oh, I got you. I got you. I got you. Um. Oh yeah, man. I heard he shouted me out, man. Shout out to Brazil, yes, man. Like, yo, he a real one, man. Like I'm like for real. I want to collab with him too, man. So that way I can get some some more insight, man. Like for real, for real. I'm like knowing him, he might sway me to go to Brazil first. I'm like, I don't know. Dennis G, you crazy, man. Don't get me started. Like, cause I'm like, cause y'all know, Miss Darlene, my YouTube wife, anyway. Nah, let me quit. Like, let me quit teasing, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Like, real talk. All right. So we going on about a quarter till 10, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. All right. I want to thank you guys again. Please hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already, okay? All right. So on that note, we're gonna go ahead and ride out. But before we do that,